I can't marry you until I've been with other men again, Claire said, like she was asking me to pick up milk. Okay, I replied, and watched relief flicker across her face for all the wrong reasons. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video plays, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. Thanks. The final catering invoice was on our kitchen counter under a magnet shaped like Idaho. It had a bold line that read balance due, and right beneath it, in smaller print, wedding date, 73 days. Beside it sat the seating chart Claire had been obsessing over, covered in pencil marks and little arrows like a battlefield plan. Her engagement photo proofs were stacked neatly by the fruit bowl. Our life was organized into piles of paper. I was leaning on the counter in socks, scrolling through my work schedule on my phone, trying to figure out a way to swap a shift so I could help my dad with a plumbing issue that weekend. Claire was at the table with her laptop open, not really typing, just staring at the screen like it was a courtroom verdict. "You're quiet," she said. "Just thinking about logistics," I answered. "We're inside 10 weeks now. Everything's getting real." She nodded, then did that thing she always did when she was about to say something hard. She smoothed her hair behind her ear twice, like pulling herself together. "We need to talk," she said. I sat down across from her. The kitchen light made her eyes look brighter than they were. Boise in early spring has that weird in-between light, like it can't decide whether to be warm or cold. She took a deep breath. "I've been having this thought, and it's not because I don't love you, it's because I do." That sentence sounded like a warning wrapped in a bow. "I need certainty," she continued, "like real certainty. I need to know I'm not settling because it's comfortable." I didn't interrupt. I've spent my whole career in aviation compliance, and one thing you learn is that people reveal everything if you let the silence do the work. Claire's voice got smoother, like she was reciting something she'd rehearsed in the mirror. "Before we get married, I need to experience other men, not emotionally, just physically, so I can be sure you're the one. If you love me, you'll understand it's for us." For a second, I thought my brain had misheard her, like a skipped word in a bad phone connection. I looked down at the invoice on the counter, the number in the corner that represented a deposit I'd paid from my savings, and then I looked back at her. She was watching my face carefully, measuring what she could get away with. I asked one question, calm and simple, the way you ask a pilot to confirm an altitude. "When you say experience other men, do you mean you want permission to sleep with other men before our wedding?" She held my gaze and didn't flinch. "Yes," she said. "I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm trying to protect our marriage before it starts. Think about it. If you're really my forever, then this won't change anything." There it was, Qley, plain, humiliating. She waited for me to argue, to beg, to ask what I did wrong, to bargain. That's what she expected. She'd been reading too many modern relationship posts and talking too much to her friend group that treated commitment like a subscription you could pause. I felt something settle inside me, not anger, not even sadness at first, just clarity, like the moment you realize you've been holding a heavy bag you don't need to carry. "Okay," I said. Her shoulders dropped, immediate relief. She smiled, actually smiled like she'd just passed a test. "Thank you," she whispered. "I knew you'd understand. This is why you're different." She reached for my hand across the table and squeezed it like this was a romantic breakthrough instead of a relationship autopsy. That night she went to bed early, humming to herself in the bathroom while she brushed her teeth. She kissed my cheek and said, "I love you," with the confidence of someone who thinks they just negotiated a great deal. I stayed up. Not in a dramatic way, no pacing, no punching walls. I made chamomile tea and sat on the couch with my laptop open. The house was quiet except for the refrigerator cycling on and off. I didn't cry, not yet. I went straight into procedure, the way I do when something goes wrong at work. Identify the problem, remove the risk, document everything. If Claire needed to experience other men to be sure, that told me everything I needed to be sure about her. I wasn't a maybe. I wasn't a backup. I wasn't a safe option she could keep on hold while she took a lap around temptation. I opened our wedding folder in my email. Every vendor confirmation was there because I'd insisted on keeping everything organized. Venue contract, caterer, photographer, DJ, florist, deposit receipts, cancellation policies. It was all neat and professional, like we were running a business. By midnight, I'd made a list of every call I needed to make in the morning. I set my phone on the coffee table, face down, and stared at the dark window where the reflection of the living room looked like someone else's life. When I finally went to bed, Claire was asleep on her side, one hand tucked under her cheek. On her nightstand sat a little velvet ring box from a jewelry store in Meridian, empty because the ring was on her finger. I watched it for a moment and thought, very calmly, I am not going to be part of this. The next morning, Claire left the house before 7. She said she had an early shift at the physical therapy clinic and then coffee with Maya. She wore a new perfume she'd bought for the honeymoon. She kissed me quickly, like she was late for something exciting, and walked out. I waited until the door clicked shut, then I moved. First, I called the venue, a lodge up in the Boise foothills with big windows and a view that made people feel like their love story had a soundtrack. The manager recognized my name immediately. "Hi, this is Aaron Pierce," I said. "I need to cancel the reservation for June 14th. There was a pause. "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Are you sure?" "Yes," I said. "Please email me the cancellation confirmation." She explained the policy in a polite, practiced voice. Our $4,000 deposit was non-refundable within 90 days. We were inside that window. I told her I understood. When the call ended, an email hit my inbox within minutes. Cancellation confirmed. It included the policy, the date, and the amount forfeited, receipt number and all. Second, I emailed the caterer. I attached the invoice sitting on the counter, the one with 73 days glaring at me like a countdown clock. I wrote 2 sentences. "We are canceling the event. Please confirm cancellation and refund any refundable portion per contract." They replied faster than I expected, probably because wedding season is their busy season and cancellations mean someone else gets the slot. The email had an itemized breakdown: deposit retained, partial refund approved, timeline for refund. It was so clinical it almost made me laugh. Love ends and spreadsheets remain. Third, I texted our photographer because she was a one-woman business and I didn't want to tie up her calendar. She sent back a kind message and a screenshot of our contract highlighting the cancellation clause. She kept the retainer, offered to apply it to a future event if circumstances change, and then sent a formal PDF invoice stamped "canceled." Those were 3 receipts in under an hour: venue confirmation, caterer refund breakdown, photographer cancellation invoice. All legal, all clean. Then I did the part that felt heavy in my hands. I took the ring off the little dish by the sink where Claire sometimes left it when she made bread dough. I didn't yank it. I didn't throw it. I just picked it up like an object that no longer belonged to the story it was meant for. The jeweler we bought it from had a return and resale policy, not a full return. I drove there with the ring in its box and our original paperwork. The manager remembered us too. Boise is like that. People remember weddings. He inspected it, checked the certificate, and made an offer based on their buyback terms. I accepted without haggling. I walked out with a receipt that stated the item number, the amount credited, and my signature, proof that the engagement had ended in the most literal way. After that, I went to the leasing office. Our apartment lease was in both names. I had already looked up Idaho's rental laws and our lease clauses the night before. The simplest way was to remove myself and transfer responsibility to Claire if she wanted to stay, or end the lease early and pay the penalty. I chose the option that protected me. I signed a roommate release addendum. The leasing agent printed it, highlighted the line that said I was no longer financially responsible after the effective date, and had me initial it. Another receipt, another paper shield against future drama. Then I went home, took 2 boxes from the closet, and started packing only what was mine. Clothes, books, my toolbox, my dad's old watch. I didn't touch Claire's things. I didn't destroy anything. I didn't leave a mess. I moved like someone checking out of a hotel. By noon, my car was loaded. I left my keys on the counter beside the seating chart and the catering invoice. I also left a single note on a clean sheet of printer paper. "Claire, I ended the engagement this morning. Vendor cancellations and lease paperwork are handled on my end. Please don't contact me except for essential logistics." No insults, no explanations, just reality. I drove to my friend Marcus's house across town. Marcus and I have been friends since community college. He opened the door, took one look at my car packed like a moving day, and didn't ask for gossip. He just stepped aside and said, "Guest room is yours." It was mid-afternoon when my phone started vibrating like a trapped insect. At first it was texts. Where are you? Is this some kind of joke? Answer me. Then calls. Then a voicemail, her voice tight and high. Aaron, please call me back. I don't understand what's happening. I didn't respond. I wasn't ignoring her to punish her. I was holding the boundary I'd put in writing. Around 6, another voicemail came in, and this one had a detail that made my stomach go cold, not because it surprised me, but because it confirmed how quickly she'd moved. Okay, so Maya told me you're being dramatic, Claire said, breathless like she was walking while she talked. But I literally did nothing yet. I was just trying to be honest. I'm at Tyler's right now, we're just talking. She cut herself off, then added quickly, it's not like that. It's not, please just come home. Tyler, a name I recognized because it had come up before in her friend's circle. Tyler from downtown, the guy who always had a new haircut and a new story. Claire had once told me he was harmless. It turns out harmless is sometimes code for convenient. The legally plausible detail that made it undeniable came an hour later, not from spying, not from hacking, but from the shared iPad we'd used for streaming shows. Marcus had brought it from my car because it had been in the center console. It lit up with a notification from our shared calendar, one Claire insisted we use for planning. Dinner Tyler 8:00 p.m. She hadn't even removed it or hidden it. She just put it on the calendar like it was a dentist appointment. I stared at the screen, felt a strange calm, and turned the iPad face down. Her messages kept coming. She shifted fast into bargaining. We can set rules. It can be one time. I'll tell you everything. You can do it too if you want. Like she was offering me different packages of disrespect and hoping one would fit my budget. I didn't answer. The next morning, I forwarded every cancellation confirmation and refund breakdown to a fresh email folder labeled Engagement End. I saved PDFs. I screenshotted the lease addendum. I scanned the ring buyback receipt. Quiet power is paperwork. I also emailed our guest list coordinator, Claire's aunt, who had been doing family seating like it was a military operation. I kept it simple. The wedding was canceled. Please don't send invitations. Thank you for your help. She replied with one line, I understand, I'm sorry, take care of yourself. That was the first human response that felt real. Then Claire's tone shifted again. Her texts turned sweet, almost nostalgic. Remember our first trip to McCall. Remember how you held my hand when my grandma died. I know I messed up. Please don't throw us away. It would have been easy to get pulled into that. We had real memories. We had real laughter. I loved her once in a way that made me picture a future. But love doesn't survive being treated like a placeholder. I started rebuilding the same day, not in a dramatic montage way, but in tiny actions. I kept going to work. I ran 3 miles after my shift, the kind of slow run where you're not training for anything, you're just trying to exhaust the noise in your head. I ate simple meals. I slept at Marcus's for a week, then found a small one-bedroom near the river with a balcony that faced east. On the day I got the keys, I bought a cheap pothos plant from a grocery store and set it by the window. I didn't do it for symbolism, but the truth is, it became one, something living that didn't demand anything from me except consistency. Claire's messages followed a predictable arc, even without me labeling it. At first, she acted offended. I can't believe you'd abandon me over a conversation. Do you know how childish you look? Everyone is going to think you're controlling. Then she softened into fear. Please, I'm scared. I can't sleep. Tell me what to do. Just talk to me for 5 minutes. Then she turned sharp again when fear didn't work. Fine, be alone then. You were never that great anyway. You think you're some hero because you canceled a wedding. Congratulations. I didn't respond to any of it. 2 weeks after I moved into my new place, her sister called me. Hannah. She'd always been polite to me, but I could hear the edge in her voice now. Claire is a mess, Hannah said, like I was the manager of Claire's emotional well-being. You can't just walk away. You're punishing her. I'm not punishing her, I said. I'm protecting myself. She made a mistake, Hannah insisted. She didn't even. She confirmed she wanted to sleep with other men before marrying me, I said, keeping my voice even. That's not a mistake, that's a decision. Hannah huffed, "People do unconventional things. It's 2025, Aaron. You can't be that traditional." I stared at my kitchen table, the empty space where a wedding binder would have been. This isn't about being traditional. It's about consent and dignity. I don't consent to being someone's safety net. So you're just going to throw away years. I gave her one firm boundary line and meant it. I'm not discussing this with anyone except Claire if it's strictly legal or logistical. Please don't call me again. She started to argue. I ended the call. That night, near midnight, the rage voicemail arrived, the kind that comes when someone realizes they can't control the outcome. "You think you're so calm and superior," Claire hissed. "You always acted like you were the responsible one, like I should be grateful you chose me. You know what? You're not special. You're just safe. That's why I picked you. Safe, predictable. And now you're proving you were never actually strong. You were just boring." There were tears under the venom, but the contempt was real. She didn't use slurs. She didn't threaten me. She just stripped the mask off and showed me what she'd been thinking all along. I listened once, saved it, and didn't reply. A month passed. My life got quieter in a good way. I settled into routines, morning coffee on the balcony, gym 3 days a week, cooking real meals instead of eating like a man who thought his kitchen was temporary. I focused at work, took an extra training certification, and my supervisor hinted I'd be up for a lead compliance role by summer. Then, in late May, I had to fly to Denver for a work conference. Boise Airport is small enough that you can still run into people you know, especially if your life used to be intertwined with a wedding guest list. I was in an airport lounge, nursing a black coffee, flipping through an email from my boss about meeting times, when I heard my name in a voice that had haunted my phone for weeks. "Aaron." I looked up. Claire stood there with a carry-on bag and tired eyes. She looked thinner. Her hair was pulled back, not styled. She was dressed like she'd tried to look put together and failed halfway through. For a moment, neither of us spoke. The lounge hummed with quiet business conversations, the clink of ice, the soft announcer voice overhead. "Can we talk?" she asked. I didn't stand, I didn't motion dramatically. I just nodded toward the chair across from me, because I'm not cruel, and because closure is sometimes a simple conversation you don't owe but choose for yourself. She sat, hands clasped tight. "I'm sorry," she said quickly. "I know you don't owe me anything, but I need you to know I didn't understand what I was doing. I thought I was being honest. I thought you'd fight for me." I watched her carefully. "Honesty isn't the same as respect," I said. Her eyes filled. "I ruined everything. I panicked. I listened to people who treat relationships like experiments, and I hurt you." I let the silence sit for a beat. Then I gave her the final truth in the only way I knew how, calm, clear, and complete. "I'm not your backup plan," I said. "I'm not a placeholder you keep while you check options. The moment you asked for permission to sleep with other men and still keep me waiting at the altar, you told me how you see me. I believed you. That's why I ended it." She swallowed hard. "I want to fix it." "I hope you heal," I said, "but you don't heal on my time or at my expense." She reached for my hand like a reflex, then stopped herself. "Do you hate me?" I shook my head once. "No, I just chose myself." My boarding group was called. I stood, picked up my bag, and nodded politely like she was a stranger I'd once known well. "Take care, Claire," I said, and walked away without looking back. If you've ever had someone try to turn you into a maybe while you're offering them a yes, tell me your story in the comments. I read them all.